What's up, everybody? Welcome in to now the third edition of our show, The Playbook. I'm your host, Aiden Schoeff, alongside Colin Cimino. Back for a third time with head coach Sam Styler. Appreciate you joining us this morning, Coach.
As always.
Yeah, I know you guys are probably feeling pretty good right now, sitting at 2-0. So we're going to move in quick to our first segment here. Let's recap last week's win against Tinsdale South. This was the first one that we got to cover up in the booth. I know we had fun up there. We won 41-20. Jacob Bertana had a big game, was a huge part in the offense, had over 10 carries for 117 yards, 3 touchdowns. Bubba Novak, elite through the air again, 8 for 13 passing, 195 and 3 touchdowns as well. So over 400 yards of offense there. Got most of your receivers involved with Karis, Morozic, DeJesus, and Bilo Brodek, all with touchdowns. What do you think your team executed best at on Friday night that helped secure such a strong win?
Yeah, I think the offensive line had a great night, both obviously in their run protection and the pass protection. Jacob wouldn't be able to run for what he did without that offensive line doing their job. Bubs wouldn't be able to sit in that pocket as well as he did without the offensive line, so I thought they did a phenomenal job. I thought we gang tackled very well on the defensive side of the football. If you go back and watch some of that tape, we're getting multiple guys to the football. So if you look around, I just thought it was a great team effort, great team win. And our playmakers showed up when they needed to, so it was a great job by us.
Absolutely. We made multiple comments about that on the broadcast where it felt like the safeties, especially Warren Mason and Oscar Aguirre, were all over the ball. Next question, though. The offense put up 41 points. That can't go without talking about.
Absolutely.
So what impressed you most about how they moved the ball? I know you said the offensive line. Anything else?
No, the execution, man. Our offensive coordinator, Coach Wojak, does a phenomenal job getting his guys ready. And I think they understand the game plan week in and week out, right? They know what they need to execute. They have a great understanding of what our keys to success are going to be, and it's going out week in and week out doing that, right? So I thought just overall the execution was there. We knew Jacob was set to have a great night. Just what we saw week one, the stats didn't really reflect how hard he worked, but we knew that if we set that ground game early, it's just only going to open up the pass game for us too. So what he was able to do obviously really set the tone for us, and then what Bubs was able to do from the pocket, and our receivers came up with big plays at big moments. But you go back and look at some of those throws that Bubba was able to make. They were dimes, man. So I just think it's the standard that they're setting on the offensive side of the football, and what the expectation is week in and week out has been huge. And we've had a great week of practice, and looking forward to hopefully another great offensive performance this week.
That's great. I know we highlighted the
Bubba,
ball of Jaden Karis over
Bubba's throws, absolute lasers.
Talk about setting the tone now. Second play was a touchdown. It was like over 40 yards for Ratana. What about that hot start helps set the tone not only on the offensive side of the ball, but defense as well?
Yeah, it's huge, right? We preach all the time, we want to start fast and finish strong. It's something that I believe in is a key to success in football, right? If you can keep your foot on the gas and not let up, it's huge, right? And when the offense can make an explosive play, it kind of gives the defense a little bit all right, hey, we got the lead right now. Let's come out, play a little more free, and let's get going. And I think, we did that. We were able to, you saw just the way the guys were flying the football on the defense side. They're definitely feeding off the energy from the offense. So I think, just overall it was a great executed night on both sides.
Sure, yeah. And let's talk about Braden for a second. The more he plays like this, the more he's going to be brought up. So really since the start of the off-season, I'm curious, what do you think he's improved most at the quarterback position?
I think it's just the confidence, right? Coming in and you knew that G was last year's starter, right? Had a great year for us last year. But knowing that, I've said it, I think, both weeks now in this show that Bubs is a competitor. And that's what I love most about the kid. There's never a situation that he shies away from. If you go back and you look at some of those throws, there was that throw that he had, who was it to? I think it was to John, that he stepped up and got drilled, right? He could have easily taken the dump off pass to the flat, but he decided to step up, take that one extra second, and knew that guy was in his face, knew that his receiver was open, delivered a shot. I just think it's his competitiveness, right, that makes him such a great and lethal quarterback. Where he's been putting the ball both weeks has been phenomenal. So I got nothing but great things to say about him, man. He's had a great year so far.
Absolutely, yeah. It's crazy. We talked about how for underclassmen, the lights can shine too bright for those guys, especially at the quarterback position. So it's been phenomenal, really fascinating to watch how good Braden has been through the first 2 weeks of the season. So more of a fun question here to round this segment out. What was the vibe like in the locker room after that one? I got to know. First home game. I feel like the student section showed out for you guys.
They did. They were there, man. It's great, right? What makes Friday Night Lights so exciting is just the environment of what it is, right? You could talk to anybody we have coaches who play at the next level. We have guys who even have, NFL experience that have had tryouts with a couple teams. So they know what it's like through my conversation with different college coaches and even NFL players. they all come back to what a Friday Night Light means, right? And there's nothing like it, no matter what level of football you play. So when we have a crowd like that, when we have a game like that, the guys are excited and they're juiced, right? And I think for us, though, it's to understand that, yeah, we had a couple nice wins last year even too, right? So it's, yeah, enjoy the moment, enjoy the win, but understand that, that lasts for, 24 hours and then we're back to work the next day. So I think this group right now understands that. I think they're enjoying those wins because they understand the work that was put in to get that, to be where we are, right? Like 41 points on offense doesn't just happen overnight. It's a culmination of everything that they've been putting in since the offseason, the summer, right? The week of preparation for practice. Yeah. So these wins are feeling earned, and it's not something that's just granted to us. That's what makes it so satisfying. Not feeling like we just kind of went out there and luckily we got the win. Like it's a bunch of preparation that went into it. And that always feels more satisfying. So very proud of the guys, and they were juiced, man. It was great. I loved it.
Absolutely. Well, the Bulldogs' hard work is paying off on the field. They are 2-0. Hope to see that win column continue. We're going to head over to break now and come back with Colin after this.
Do we just pick it back up?
Hmm?
Do we just pick it back up?
What do you mean? Interrupting for a third week in a row.
Try getting here early today for you guys. So.
Yeah, that's all right. Doing the best.
Ready? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
Hello and welcome back to the third edition of the Playbook. We're going to look more ahead into next week's game at Ridgewood.
Yep.
So you're coming off a big 41-20 win, and how do you keep your team focused throughout the week and not looking past Ridgewood?
This week I think is pretty easy, right? Like they came into our place on homecoming last year and kicked our butt, man. It was that was not a fun game to be a part of. That one hurt a lot. It's never fun to lose one at home. It's never fun, especially to lose on homecoming. So I think our team understands that nothing in this conference has ever been given. We got to earn everything, and I think it's too like go back on what we learned from last year, right? Like we had a big week 1 win, and I think some of our guys rode a little too high, and that led to a week 2 loss, right? So now, yeah, we're 2-0 right now, but every week feels like we're 0-0, and we got to make sure that we have a great week of preparation, which we have so far, and understand that we're going to their place now, right? We're in their environment. We know kind of what they bring and what Ridgewood is. They are tough kids. They are always tough. There's a long-standing rivalry between Ridgewood and RB, just going back to days of the old conference. And if you look at some of those records, right, and what you see up in the gyms all the time, they're one of the guys that have our game circled always, and we have the same thing for them. So I think our guys are excited about the opportunity to go 3-0, but know that nothing's granted, nothing's guaranteed. So we got to come out and play our game.
Yeah, absolutely. And from like past experience with Ridgewood and watching their current film, what stands out to you most about that team?
Yeah, they're tough, man. They are tough, hard-nosed kids. They are very athletic. They got some, their quarterback is a returning starter for them that, was able to do some great things against us last year. What he's done in first week 2, like you have to understand that he's a great athlete. They got some great receivers out there. And they do like to throw the ball a little bit, so if we can neutralize that, I think we've done a great job in the secondary so far through 2 weeks. So I think we're putting ourselves in a pretty good position to be successful there. But know that, it's a big game for us, right? It's a big game for them. They are fighting for, the rest of their season. They're 1-1 right now. And, if you start dropping that lose column, then the playoffs start getting a little tougher to achieve. So we know that they're fighting for everything, and so are we. So we got to make sure that we come prepared and ready to rock and roll from the start.
Yeah. And you talk about Ridgewood's pass game. Are there any specific matchups that you're like will be key for your team?
I mean, across the board, right? We got to make sure that, we tackle well in the open field. Their quarterback is very mobile, can move around pocket pretty well. We know that last week we didn't have the greatest game tackling, like as individuals. Yeah, we did a great job getting to the ball, but it was a big point of emphasis this week for us, was making sure that we were securing those tackles, that we're getting everybody to the football, making those big plays when we need to. And then in terms of like they have receivers all across the board, right? They got some guys who can make big plays on the field. So our secondary needs to know that we gotta, win our matchups as much as possible. Know that there's, chance for big plays in their offense, the way that it's designed. And what we saw in the first 2 weeks, right? If we can limit big plays, then we can be pretty successful. But when we allow those big plays to happen, we put them in positions to score. So as long as we limit big plays, I think we'll be in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, and last week you guys faced the dynamic duo Jackson Schuyler and Dante Jett.
Yep.
Or
Look so to speak.
Oh, they're very athletic, man. Those
Yeah.
guys are talented for
Yeah,
sure.
no, and your corners and DBs did a great job shutting them down.
Yeah.
That was a great thing to see. Do
Yeah.
you think the defense has prepped the same way to face Angelo Vitale and Alex Hrabchak?
Yeah, I think so, man. I think it's been a point of emphasis for us the entire year, right? Is that we know that in the past our secondary has been, we've struggled a little bit. Going back a couple of years, it's been a point of emphasis that we need to make sure we need to clean up. We have a great coach in Coach Love that's been working with our corners, who's done a phenomenal job, and I think we've seen it since week one that we're trying our best to prevent those big plays, and if our corners continue to do what they're doing, like our matchups this week, I think our safeties, right? Yeah, they are very aggressive, as you mentioned earlier. That our safeties like to get downhill a little bit, and they like to hit. Warren and Oscar are two dudes that I would not like to face in the alley out there on the field. But we got to make sure that we're being disciplined with our eyes and making sure that we're staying in coverage when we need to. With a dynamic quarterback like that, it's easy to kind of get lost. I think that's what made Hinsdale South successful in some of their plays. That one touchdown in particular where he was scrambling, we kind of lost our eyes a little bit in the secondary. So as long as, we stay disciplined, I like our matchups across the board.
Yeah, and how important is it to carry the same energy and execution into next week's game?
Always, man. It's the most important thing in football is knowing, where you need to align pre-snap, what your assignment is each snap, and, we got to go out there and execute. So I think we're going to be able to, keep carrying the energy that we've seen in the first 2 weeks into week 3, just based on the conversations I've had with the team. Like, everyone seems focused and ready to rock and roll. And, again, when you go into, enemy territory, you got to make sure that you're doing your job to the best of your ability. Know that we're not going to have the same crowd that we saw last Friday night at our backs, and we can't really feed off them too much. So it's got to come from within, and I think our guys are ready for it.
Absolutely. And we're going to take another quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to kick it back over to Aiden to take a look at the rest of the Bulldogs' schedule.
Eight, seven, six, five, four.
All right, welcome back to our third and final segment of today's third edition of the Playbook. We're going to do a little bit of a schedule check-in here. So we're going to look at the next 3 weeks. A lot of threes here. Week 4, so after Ridgewood, week 4, you guys are playing Elgin at home. That is the homecoming game. They are currently 2-0. Then week 5, you stay at home against Fenton. Currently 1-1. And then we have Glenbard South week 6 away. Interestingly enough, they lost 57-0 in week 1 against a very good team in Wheaton-Warrenville South. Came back the next week and won 47-0 against East Aurora. So a little bit of a flip there. Pretty strong schedule. I mean, obviously you guys looked at it preseason. I'm sure you looked at it the same way. But all these teams, even the ones that 1-1, are still very strong. And I'm sure in multiple aspects of their team. So obviously a lot can change in just a few weeks. But what teams have you been keeping your eye on the most, whether in like the next few weeks or down the line in your schedule that stand out to you the most?
Yeah, everyone. I mean, it's we're in conference play now, and that's something that we're emphasizing a lot. There's, you kind of break it up into phases, right? That we go through the summer, right, and you got to make sure they execute well in the summer, and you understand what we're trying to do offensively, defensively, and on special teams. And our guys had a great summer, right? They were locked in, ready to rock and roll. We had to learn a new offense and new defense this year. They took that in stride and did a phenomenal job. And then every week it's focusing, being 1-0, right? Win that week. We're not looking ahead at anybody, and making sure we understand, what we got coming, right? And now that we got through our, non-conference schedule in the first 2 weeks, now everyone our teams that we're going to be battling, for the next foreseeable future, right? So we now got a pretty good idea of what our opponents are like after being able to play all these guys for the first year. It's something that is pretty nice considering the first couple of years of my tenure as head coach. We were in 3 different conferences in 3 years. So now being
Hard
able
to get acclimated.
a little bit, but now that we are here in the Upstate 8 to stay, the focus kind of changes a little bit, knowing that we cannot take a single team on this schedule lightly. Know that these are all now conference rivals to us, and we got to make sure that we come out and execute every single week. So, while we do kind of look ahead and see what our opponents are doing a little bit, our focus of our team is always like, who is our opponent that Friday? And let's make sure we do what we need to do to execute that Friday. So the focus all week this week has been Ridgewood. The coaches can kind of take a look and see what we got coming up, but like our team, make sure that we stay focused on what we're doing right now, where we're in the present, keep your feet grounded, and make sure that we do what we got to do this week and not really look ahead like, oh, what's Glenbard doing, what's West Chicago doing, what's going on here, what's going on there. Our focus has to be on Ridgewood, and we got to make sure we don't take them lightly, and we can't look ahead of them at all.
Yeah. So you guys fell to Fenton last year in Week 5, 21-14, but that was away. That was at their house.
Yes, it was.
With them coming here, does that change anything? And really, as a head coach, what would you say? Obviously we talked about the turnout versus Hinsdale South. Me and Colin thought it was great. I mean, the floor was shaking up there in the booth, so I think that speaks volumes to how much they showed out. But as a coach, what does a big crowd mean for you?
I love it, man. I love our community. I love our school, right? Yeah. I'm very fortunate to be able to teach here and have a lot of our students in classes, whether it's through U.S. History or Gov or Psych or whatever it is I'm teaching at the time. So seeing our students come out and support us, it means everything to us, right? Like we've seen games where, we're not putting a product in the field and students rather go elsewhere, and I understand that completely, but hopefully they see the hard work that our players are putting in and they want to come out and support us, and when they do, it means the world to us. It means the world to our players, it means the world to me that we have such a supportive community, such a supportive student body that wants to come out and support our team, come out and enjoy what is Friday Night Lights. I don't think there's any better atmosphere than what we produce here at RB. The more that we get that support from our student body, the better that we can perform. And we use that to our advantage, right? Like we have a very unique situation here at RB where our student section loves to show up, right? Yeah. And when they do, and when we hear them, and when they're staying locked in, like it could change the game. So we're asking everybody week in, week out, if you guys are able to make it on Friday night, let's make sure we come out there and support our guys. Yeah,
I mean, Fridays are a big deal around here. I know you guys appreciate that. So last question, when looking at your upcoming schedule, what's your overall philosophy on how the team should approach it? Is it about, I know you kind of answered this, taking each game as it comes, or do you have a larger strategy in mind throughout the season?
Go 1-0 every week. Yeah. That's it, right? Like the more you start looking ahead, the more you overlook an opponent just because, they did this against this team, they did this against this team. I mean, shoot, go back and look what we did last year, right? Like we can't, Ridgewood, Fenton, right? 2 teams that we fell to. Yeah, we were able to beat Elgin. Yeah, we were able to beat Glenbard South, but that doesn't mean anything. They're new teams. We're a new team. Right. So our focus always is and always will be that we need to go 1-0 every day, right? We need to win Monday. In order to win Monday, we got to have a great practice. And if we win Monday, then we got to make sure we come back the next day and win Tuesday with a great practice, right? Wednesday's a longer day for us, so we got to make sure that we have a perfect Wednesday, right? If we can stack together great days, that leads to a successful Friday. But the minute that we start looking ahead of we got to make sure we take today a little bit easier because we got to get ready for this one. Oh, we can't really do this week because we got this opponent coming up. That's not my philosophy at all. It's not my coaching staff's philosophy. It's winning the week. It's winning the day. Making sure that, come Friday night, we don't overlook any opponent and we give them everything that we got so that, we're putting ourselves to be in a position to be successful for the next coming weeks. So 1-0 every week, man. That's our focus.
Absolutely. Well, tough schedule coming up, but I have full faith in Sam Stoller and company to get things done and be successful throughout the season.
Yeah, me as well. And that's going to do it here from the home studio at RBTV. They have a big game coming up against Ridgewood. If you could get there, make sure to get there. And thanks again to Coach Styler for your time. And we're all hoping these dogs can stay undefeated past this Friday heading into homecoming week. And I'm Colin Cimino with my partner Aiden Schoeff, and this is RBTV.